So I think, yes, we are live. Hey! I always like it when we end up live, because it means that everything's working in our favor, right? Yes. So everybody, I can see we're here. I'm not. I can see that we're here. We are here. This is the Attitude and Mindset Show, and welcome to us. Today I'm joined by the lovely Gina Petinou, and Gina here is a spiritual practitioner and healer and many other things, and we'll speak about that as we go along. But what we'd like to speak about today is the attitude and mindset that we need to be working into that spiritual practice, and really to harness in on the fact of our mental health and spirituality and how it can really help us through this journey. Because as many of us know, it's been, shall we say, quite hard times for everyone. Everyone's had to go into a different state of, people have gone into a different state of mind through this journey. People's mental health has suffered through this. And there's a lot that's been going on. And we really want to bring to the table a new perspective, a new way, and be able to, and Gina's going to show us practices that we can actually do. And we'll be doing here live today, which is really cool. And yeah, so I'm just going to play us our promo video, and we'll come back and we'll be speaking to Gina. So see you in a minute, guys.
Hey, hi, we're back.
There. So, yeah, I don't know. I wasn't, all I could see was a blank, well, not a blank screen, it was just frozen. So, hopefully we're all good. I think sometimes when I try and play too much, it doesn't, the internet kind of gets shaken up a little bit. So we are, where do we even start, Gina? It's such a big subject, spirituality, right? So I think I'm going to start with, what do you do? What's, like I said, that you're a spiritual practitioner and a healer. So do you want to kind of break down a little bit about what you do, and we'll take it from there?
Okay, great. I'm a holistic therapist, and I'm also an energy healer. And the last 6 years, I should say, I've been heading more into breath work, and my meditation practice I've been doing for over 25 years. But my breath work has been the last 5-6 years, and I found to be very, very rewarding and transformational for me. Having a spiritual practice is been a journey, and it is a journey, really, and it's a journey into discovering yourself. And it's an internal experience rather than an external appearance. So it's like you kind of need to look within and find parts of yourself you never thought existed. And it's also, I find the practice has been the main thing that shifts feelings like fear, anger, depression, and especially these last 2 years, my practices have been consistent for a long time, actually the last 10-15 years. And I used it when I was going through the most difficult part of my life. And it was the most transformational thing I've ever done in my life. Before, when I first started my spiritual growth, I was very sporadic here and there. Oh, let me meditate to relax, really. I used to meditate to relax. That was my peak. I'd lie there and do a little bit of breathing, maybe listen to the music, and that was my practice. But it wasn't until I went through the most difficult part of my life where I included it every day, and I feel I wouldn't have been able to cope mentally with the situation I went through if I didn't have that practice. So spiritual practice is necessary to deal with depression, anger, fear. There was it Buddha or something said that, what did you gain by meditation, doing meditation? Because they say it's quite lazy. Meditation is lazy thing to do, but it's like, no, it's not what I gained, it's what I lost. I lost my anger, I lost my fear, I lost my my depression, all these things I lost by meditating. And it's true, that quietness, that relaxation, it keeps you well. My immune system is top form because of my practices. So it's been a blessing in my life, and I highly recommend.
Yeah, and just a bit of background. Like, I've known Gina for a number of years, but we really connected when I went abroad to Cyprus, and I spent a lot of time with Gina, and she really showed me some practices that were life changing. Because, like she said, it seems like a lazy thing to do to meditate, but actually, what you gain from that and what you lose is profound, in the sense of you lose that fear, and you get to know so much about self, right? So in being around you, Gina, like, I felt shifts take place quite often within me. Like, we'd go to the beach and would have a meditation like session where Gina would have these, you're going to tell me what they're called. Chimes. So she had chimes, and she'd do this ding, but the feeling I'd get around me, like, she'd go all around me and do this ding, ding, ding. And the vibration, the feeling, especially when you're right near the beach, as in like the water, and you're standing with your feet in the ground, so you're really earthing yourself. It really helps you understand what's important in life. And like you've rightfully said there, the biggest thing that is your health, right? Because without your health, you're going to struggle with all, from your mindset to your spirituality to every side of things, because health is so important to us. We function through our health, So, and I definitely found by doing those practices with you that I felt more free. I cleared my mind massively. I was able to forgive myself for so many things that had, of life, of what had happened, or what I hadn't done, which I thought I should have done, or things that I had done that I wish I hadn't done. And then it became more of a not I wish I could have or should have. It was more of a acceptance to, this is what happened, and all I can do is bring myself to where I am today and be able to be thankful for where I am and move forward and actually tell a new story about my life, rather than living in that old story of what I'd been experiencing and what was happening. So I think, like, the practices make that huge difference, because it allows you to go within to find those triggers that can create the anxiety, the triggers that create the depression, the triggers that create what's the others? Well, there's anxiety, depression, anger, frustration. All of those things, actually, you can find within you where they stem from, because you're looking so far into yourself, not like obviously physically looking into yourself, but mentally and heartfelt, to be able to understand where have they come from and what you can do about them, and the practices help you clear them. I think that's what I got from Gina.
Yeah, you're right. Well, Nikola Tesla said to us, you want to understand the universe, it's energy and frequency. And if you think of life, we spend so much time on our phones, on the TV, or with electrical appliances around us, especially like, you know, years ago when I used to be a hairdresser and I used to work with the hairdryer all the time. You're always around these energies and this frequency, but it's not high frequency, it's low frequency. So what happens is you just feel drained afterwards. You know, when you're on the computer all day, you know, you're not only physically does it affect you with your posture, but it affects your whole energy field. And that's why I was talking to someone yesterday how, you know, like, because they work on the computer all day. And I said, you know, have you ever heard of an earthing mat? And he's like, well, what's that? And it's like, well, you know, okay, again, we're using electrical stuff, but it's an earthing mat, which allows you to use that, you know, to work around these things and give you the feeling like you're walking on the earth. And the earth has got its own magnetic field that we don't walk. Who walks barefoot enough, especially in London? I hardly ever walk barefoot on the earth to feel that magnetic field. You know, Native American Indians, they say it to us, you know, your shoes are making you ill because you're not allowing yourself to feel that magnetic energy of the earth. So we got to feel it from somewhere, or we need to do something that's going to raise our vibrations so that we are on a higher. Now look at children. Children, they don't care. They would run around barefoot. They're always on a high vibration. They want to explore. And we, as adults, we've lost that inner child and that inner excitement to play. And we need to kind of bring stuff like that back to us. Have that in it, like when that now, like every now and again. Okay, it's winter over here now, so we only get sunshine on and off. But like, you know, and like the way I feel going barefoot on the beach with my music and my frequencies and just dancing by myself, I said I managed to raise my vibration so high that it feels like electrical, ecstatic energy that I don't ever feel being at home, ever.
Absolutely.
Like, because I'm walking in my shoes, or it's, you know, different things are around me that distract me. Whereas when you're at the beach and you're barefoot and you've got that music going, and that's music as well being a fantastic healer, you know, especially frequency music, like 4 to 8 hertz and 5 to 8 hertz. All these different hertz are higher frequencies than what we're used to. You know, like some of the frequencies we have in our homes are so low that, and we don't even, and especially these new light bulbs that we're starting to use, they're all lower frequency to kind of bring you lower down. It's not higher energy. So we need to bring some of this music in and that nature back into our lives so that we can really, you know, be a lot healthier. And it raises your immune system, and you won't, you know, it does raise your immune system when you have these things around you.
And I think, you know, everything you just said is quite profound, because it's just, it's very simple things, isn't it, Gina? It's not, they're not big things. They're just like, if you can have those times where you just take your shoes and socks off and you can stand on the ground and feel that, like, okay, if it's on a pavement, you're not gonna, it's, the connection isn't so strong. However, you're still taking, if that's the only place that you can do it, or on the grass, go to the field, go to a park and do the same, because again, it's the earth that you're connecting with. And, you know, my understanding of it all is when we're raising our energy and our vibration, we're actually raising the collectiveness of all around us. We're actually raising that vibration around us. So it's a bit like, if I can describe it as being around somebody who is on a very low vibration and going through quite a bit, and they feel really down, and say you've got 10 people like that, and you step into that energy field, you automatically feel yourself drop. And it's actually quite difficult to keep yourself on a higher vibration. But then walk into a place where you've got 10 people who are celebrating life, straight away, you cannot help but smile and feel good. And that feel good feeling is what heals the body and heals the mind, because it's actually, like you said, we're all about energy. We're all about frequency. So the higher our frequency is and the higher our vibration is, then the way that's how our body reacts to be able to do a natural cleansing from within. And I think that also then leads you to want to eat better. You reach for better feeling foods. You start getting surrounded by conversations that actually support that vibrational energy. And I think it goes either which way around. If you're constantly on a low and you're feeling and really taking on board, which has been a big thing in the past couple of years, which it's been very difficult for people to keep above that. And I think we can honestly put our hand on our heart and say, yes, we've been affected to a certain degree, but not at that level of like really low vibrational, because we do know practices and we do implement those practices. And I think meditation is probably one of the biggest ones, because you only need yourself. You don't need to go anywhere. You can just be anywhere at home and practice that. And when you quieten your mind, you naturally raise your vibration. And when you naturally raise your vibration, it naturally opens up your day to a better day. And when I say a better day, I mean as in the people you meet are more supportive. The opportunities are seen rather than the blinkers being on you. There's collectiveness that happens. You meet great business partners, or you team up with people, or there's so many things that come with being able to clear your mind, right? I think it's so powerful. I'm just going to quickly read a couple of comments here, because we've got comments coming through, and I want to just see if there's what's being said here, G. So just 1 second. First of all, click the camera as well to make you both small, so the Mental Health Warrior banner is above you. Now, if I touch something, Adam, I'm a bit frightened that I mess it up. So I think I'm not going to do that. And I'm going to know for next time to do it. I'd rather not. But thank you. Unless you can tell me where it is, then I'm not going to touch anything. But thank you so much for pointing that out. And what a journey it is. Greetings, Anthea and Gina. Thank you, Robert. Yes, what a journey it absolutely is, Robert. It really is something, and there's so much to learn. And Robert's just saying it was when the unthinkable become reality. This was my journey of bringing out the true me with a sense of gratitude, no apologies, and life become more spiritually abundant than I could have perceived of. And that, I mean, that's a testimonial in itself, isn't it, Robert? I mean, and G, like, honestly, that gratitude of life. And you're so right, when the unthinkable becomes reality, and that's what it's been for us. It's been the unthinkable. Honestly, like, if people remember the first part of this, when we was all locked away like prisoners, and people that had like married people, or just living together, or people that are by themselves, or let's just start with people that live with other people and probably had quite a hectic life, would see each other. Like, I know in my household, G, this all kicked off, it was me, Alex and Sophia, me and my 2 children, and we always had people around all the time. And if people weren't round, then it was like we were all out doing our own thing. I was an estate agent. I worked as an estate agent, and I also run a dog boarding business. And my children were helping me with that. So there was always things going on. But we were always kind of like, I would say, would spend time with one another. But there was a big chunk of throughout the day and evening where we wouldn't see one another. Then all of a sudden, we were all just there in the house. Now, luckily for us, we've grown up together. As in, I was only 20 when I had my first child, and only 22 when I had my second one. And it's only me and my children. So we're very receptive to one another. And we can be around each other's space all day, every day, and really not think anything of it. And so we thoroughly enjoyed that time. However, I knew, like, I'd heard arguments taking place around, and I'd heard people that were starting to get into a really bad state because they weren't used to having that kind of lifestyle where everyone's there continuously. And how do you know to deal with that? So I think there's probably a high percentage of people that wanted to understand how to deal with it. And I think this is where the spirituality and finding and going within becomes super powerful, and being able to, like Robert said here, bringing out the true you of who you really are from having this thing on the outside to all of a sudden really going within to who am I? What am I about? What am I doing here? What's my purpose? All these questions start coming out, right? So like I think what we're gonna, I think I'm just obviously there's nothing planned here. We're just kind of working with it. So I'm going to carry on reading this, but if you can think of a practice, Gina, that we could do here and now, that could possibly help people that feel like they're quite in a very dark place, shall we say, something they can start with.
Yeah, well, when there's more than one of you, it's quite hard when one of you has got one practice and another one doesn't really want to comply. That's quite hard to deal with. Like with me, I was pretty much on my own for the last 2 years, so I would do courses, and I did the breathwork course last year. I did the yoga course last year. I did, so I was constantly educating myself through it. I thought it was also an opportunity. We've never ever, as people, had such an opportunity where everything just stopped for us.
Yes.
We saw the difficult side, but there was also a beautiful side when nature finally, for once in its lifetime, especially the way we are now, we've had more flights than we've ever done 30 years ago. We've got, everything was just full on constantly. And, that lockdown, for the first few lockdowns, it gave life a big break.
Yes, and, Gina, yes.
And nature, and it's not just about us. We need to remember that. And I think what happened by couples getting together, and forced to spend such big time, that's where you kind of realize where your relationship wasn't what you thought it was, and a lot of relationships did break down. I know loads of people who divorced during the lockdown and separated.
And that can't be easy, right?
Well, one thing I kind of realized as well, but I've known this for a while, as I've started my spirituality, that which is not love will not be able to exist anymore, because we are already in the fifth dimension, but we're just catching up. And it's the third dimension is fear and anxiety and, power, greed, and all this stuff. And look at the changes that are happening. It's just, there is definitely a spiritual awakening happening. And, when I was training, when I started training in yoga, in Kundalini yoga in 2011, 12, which was the main, already they were talking about this new Aquarian age, and how that people will start to lose their minds, going through these changes, because it's not what we used to. One thing I would probably recommend for a lot of people is to keep a journal. It's write down your experiences. As soon as you write them down, they get out of your head.
Yes.
So get it out of your head, because our brains, we put so much pressure on ourselves. We don't give ourselves that space. This is why I like meditation. Like, the first time I started meditating, I couldn't do it. it was like my brain was like, I can't see. You know, my friend would be like, oh, I can see this, I can see colors, and I'm like, what are you seeing? I go, I can't see nothing. I was going crazy, thinking, what's wrong with me? I can't see anything. And then, but what happened was, what I like about myself is I was persistent. I
Yes.
kept at it. I kept
Yes.
at it. I kept trying every day, and I'll be like, I kept looking like that, thinking, what am I looking for? I can't see. And then one day, while I was just lying there, I wasn't expecting anything. All of a sudden, I started to see these visual things and colors, and I was like, oh, what have I done? What happened? And I said, I got so happy because I kind of understood what he was talking about. And then ever since then, because as my practices got better and stronger, I could meditate for longer, and then I'd have more experiences, because we forget we are spiritual beings having a human experience.
Experience. Yes.
We lose it. We
Yes.
keep thinking, we make the excuse, oh, you're human. We're not just human.
No,
We
we're
are
spiritual.
we're souls and we're spirits, and we're having a spiritual experience while and we're learning to be human more than
Yes.
anything.
And you know what? And you said something so profound with what we were saying there. When, during that time, there was people who used the time to actually go within themselves and educate themselves, and actually focus on things that they could do, because it was the first time ever that, like, for me, I knew that I was like, this is phenomenal. My phone wasn't going crazy. There wasn't all this stuff going on. I didn't have to run in and out and go and do this and go shopping and go and try and keep up with my world. Like, I was like, and I during that time, I was able to forgive myself for so much. I found practices that really worked, and I was able to educate myself. And I know myself and yourself, both of us together, done the Ho'oponopono advanced course, which is a clearing technique, right?
That was so powerful, because by doing the course,
powerful.
we were using so much more. And
Yes.
me and you were quite rebels last year. I was like, we were like, it was quite strict in Cyprus, so we were kind of told we couldn't go anywhere. And then me and you, we had our little paper saying, well, we're self-employed and we kind of need to travel and do this and this. But we never ever got stopped. We never got stopped because we had the attitude. It was our energy.
Yes.
And we had those beautiful experiences of like escaping, and that's another thing. When you're locked in, you want to escape, and this is where meditation does that for you. You can escape in meditation. If you allow yourself, and some people, because like they say, meditation is you need to do at least 10-20 minutes of meditation. Unless you're really busy, then you should do an hour. This is like a Buddhist saying to how important meditation is in your life. And some people cannot stop. They cannot stop their brains and meditate. And I find with people like that, then you should do the breath work. That is something, because with anxiety, I remember myself when I was anxious and stressed, I would forget to breathe.
Yes.
And if you
a big one, isn't it?
Yeah, you realize you're holding your breath, or you're shallow breathing. Or I find when I'm teaching people, when I'm doing a massage, because I'm also a therapist and a healer, when I'm doing my healing and my massaging, when I ask people to let go, a lot of people find it very hard to let go, and they would hold on. They would, like, they couldn't breathe properly, or they use their chest rather than the stomach, diaphragmatic breathing. So we need to get more in touch with diaphragmatic breathing, which is breathing through the nose and down into the stomach, and making the stomach come out, and then breathe out through the mouth or through the nose, whichever feels comfortable for you. It's more relaxed. The beginning, if you're a beginner, probably in and out through the nose, because when you breathe through the mouth, if you do mouth breathing, it's not good to do unless you're going to do it as a technique and as a practice. and it's a more advanced technique. You release more trapped energy in your body, and it can trigger emotions, like release emotional stuff that you've been holding on to. So it's very healing, very deep, but it's a lot more advanced. So there's lots of different types of breathing. Like I've noticed, like a lot of people who have anxiety and they can't speak up. Or people who speak too much in their jobs. They're on the phones all the time, or they're on the computer and they talk too much in their work. Singers, all these things. They use their throat energy so much that when I have clients, they've got such terrible tension in the back of their necks. There's a breath we called ujjayi breathing. Another name for it is ocean breath, which is like a fogging. It's that breath, it's that sort of sound, but you don't use your mouth. You're doing it through the back of your throat, through your nose, in and out through your nose. And ujjayi breathing, ocean breath, is a beautiful technique for releasing tension at the back of the neck.
Wow. So that's powerful.
There's lots of different techniques, and you got to kind of explore till you find yours. Like I'm learning now about retaining the breath, like holding your breath. And for me, I can do the deep breathing and everything, but when it comes to holding my breath, like I panic. And I think for me, it's an emotional thing. Like from young, the thought of not being able to breathe, and then one thing they relate a lot of this thing is to your birth. Like I was actually born in my sac. So when I first came out of my mum, I wasn't breathing how I was supposed to. So it's an emotional thing behind not holding my breath, because I've obviously been born. I had to hold my breath because I was in this sac. So that I had to wait for them to open the sac before I came out. So that creates a panic in me for holding my breath. So I'm training myself to get over my fear now of holding my breath. And I'm quite surprised at myself. Like, at the beginning, I couldn't do it. I found it really emotional for me. But like, I'm training myself now to get over my fear by practicing, and I'm doing challenges. I'm doing a 7-day breathology challenge with an Olympic medalist who's I think his name is Steve. I have to check his name later. But he's Guinness Book of Records champion of holding his breath for like 20 minutes. I like the thought of holding my breath.
Wow. Wow. I tried it for 10 seconds. I'm like,
I think the most I've done is 1.5 minutes. I can't, I would, if I can sustain that, I'm happy. But like, there's an element of, we need to train ourselves and challenge ourselves to get over things. And that challenge, it gives you pride. It gives you it's a self-rewarding for yourself.
Absolutely. No, I so agree with you. And that breathing side of thing is something that, like what you just said about, like, look, something happened at birth, and are we still, is our internet, are we back? Okay. From birth, these things that happen from birth actually affect us later on. And that's where the spirituality and the healing and the forgiveness and all the techniques come into play, because we don't know why we're feeling depressed, or we think an outside situation is the reason, but actually it's something to do with from birth to 7 years old, right? It's that journey from birth to there that actually would have been the reason why you're suffering at the age of 40 or 50 or 60. Because unless we deal with it, and unless we're able to use these breathing techniques or meditation, or like you said, just a journal of writing things down, because when you write things down, you're actually getting it out from in here and in here onto paper, and you can do whatever you want with it. You can finish writing something and put a big cross through it to say it's gone, it's done, and you feel that sense of relief, right? It's huge. And that's just something that anyone can do, really. And like you said, we don't realize that being on the phone all day, or having like lots of people around, or whatever it is for you in your day, those energies and that vibration is around. The phone has an energy and a vibration. It's emanating at all times. We are all emanating at all times. We all have a frequency behind us. So being on the laptop and the phone next to you all day and the internet going, imagine the frequency that's coming from that, all the electrons, all those, things that are happening, and that's all affecting us. So if we could actually see the energy, we could see the frequency happening around us, right?
Yeah. Well, you don't see Wi-Fi, you don't see radio waves.
No.
So these things we are surrounded by all the time, and we are also chemical beings. Like most of us, first thing we reach out for is a cup of coffee in the morning. Already you've put in caffeine to raise your energy. Whereas we could have done a few minutes of exercises, or have some lemon water or something like that, which would have done the same thing, but on a healthier version. So
absolutely,
it's also find that depression a lot as well is our internal chemistry. So depression, it's a lot of things, and it's still, so if you break depression down, it's deep rest. It's a deep rest of your life. I think even a lot of people have said we need sometimes a rest from ourselves. Or we're going, what we're feeling around us, and people can lose sight of themselves because of this. It's there's many ways of teaching yourself to. It's almost like you're not programming. I don't know if you can call it programming.
I think it is programming. It is programming, G. You're programming yourself.
We are reprogramming, because we were programmed. A lot of us, we all grew up, like I grew up with foreign parents who didn't, English was not their first language. They weren't so educated, so they never really pushed us for education and to. I started my first career as a hairdresser, and I learned a lot on the way, but once I started to get into spiritual practices, that's when my life really changed.
Yeah.
It just, and we forget, like we say, that we are spiritual beings, and we need to work on that spiritual beings. Now one thing I learned in my healing is, like, when you connect, physically, we have a lot of issues. Oh, we've got pain in the neck, we've got headaches, we've got pain in the shoulders, our back hurts, our legs hurt, our knees hurt. But like your soul has no pain, no physical pain. And whereas if you can stop being the human and start being the soul, you can start releasing those physical symptoms. They do. They eventually release and go.
Bam.
And this
Love that.
Yeah, this is why you need that regular practice. And it could be anything. If it's, if you don't want to be, if you can't meditate, dance. Just shake. It's been, how many now? You've got these ecstatic dancing groups everywhere where they start with slow music, slow movement and shaking, and then you start getting this ecstatic energy, and you lose all that physical pain after a day. Like an hour of dancing can take away all that physical stress that you've been holding. That because you're releasing this. It's not always meditation. Yogi Bhajan in Kundalini Yoga said people want to feel an experience rather than just, close their eyes and, unless you're, Dr. Joe Dispenza's proved to us how meditation healed his spine. It's becoming, breath work again. He uses breath work, visualization, meditations, these things have been proven more. Even Anthony Robbins, he had this beautiful breathing technique where he's grabbing the air.
Yes.
And he's pushing, he's breathing, and the ecstasy you feel from that, you're tingling, you start to tingle. And this is what's missing in a lot of our lives. We can't keep escaping behind Netflix and TV programs. Like, I haven't switched on my TV for years. I brought a TV from England and it's still in the box.
It's still in the box, right? I had the same when I was in Cyprus. It just stayed in the box. You don't do anything with it. But I think the point of this is, once, like, the solution to the anxiety, to the depression, to any of those feelings and those emotions that are taking place, is when you do these practices, what happens is you don't just feel it's not that the relief is one part of it, but the solutions to the problems are shown. They're realized by one, because our soul, our spirit has the answers to everything, and it's always in a pure state of love. It's always in pure positive energy. And the only reason why we feel the discord is because we're not aligning with our inner being. We're not aligning with our spiritual side of us. So what happens is there's like a pull apart. So where if you're feeling that pure love and that pure ecstasy for life, and you're thankful and you're grateful for where you are and what's happening, and even if there is a problem, the fact that you are feeling the love and the gratitude behind it, and you're breathing, and you're literally bringing that air back into your lungs, or you're quieting your mind, or you're dancing, and you're moving your body, and you've got this movement happening, ideas, solutions come, and they literally come to you like in lightning force, because you're now open to be able to receive what your inner being already knows and already has the answers to. So then what happens is you close this gap, and then you become your full self, and you find your true self, which obviously Robert had mentioned earlier on as well. It's finding that true you within you, right? And be able to align with that. And that is power. We are powerful beings, right, G? We are super powerful beings.
We're energy. We are energy.
Yes.
And
Yes.
As Abraham Hicks says, let go of that monkey brain,
Yes.
which is it's the programming we've been brought up with. And why do you think it's called TV program? It's a program. It's programming your brain. Like these reality shows, these are just escapes, escaping your own reality. Instead of doing that, read the book or watch a documentary. There's so much more. But on YouTube, there's beautiful meditations and talks, and there's education that's take yourself a little bit out of that maintain that boring maintaining of watching TV and learning nothing really.
I think also what I've realized, or I've come to realize, or kind of seen as well, that a lot of people are scared to even go down that road, because they're so used to and so programmed in being in depression and feeling that anxiety and feeling that way and feeling that fear, that they actually don't even realize that they're fearing their true self of who they really are. They're actually frightened to step into that power, because it's the unknown, isn't it? It's very much the unknown, because like we said, it's programming, and we all have been programmed. But the difference is when you can find something other than your normal, like EastEnders or all of that stuff, that all it shows you is people going through problems. That's all it shows you. And then people go, oh, they can relate to it. But actually, that's not life. Life is supposed to be fun and great and full of great experiences. And I can actually put my hand on my heart and sit here from the purity of saying that I know I've gone from that anxiety, depression, and reaching for all the wrong things, in the sense of what's making me feel worse and worse, and feeling like a victim in this world, being a single parent, and feeling like, why me? Why have I got to have all this pressure? To feeling like I would not change my life for nobody, in the sense of I love who I am. I love where I am. I love where I'm going. I love the opportunities. I love seeing in my mind's eye what is the possibilities. Yes, sometimes I can still feel like, why hasn't something happened? Don't get me wrong. I still can experience that. But what I can do when that happens is write it down, like you said earlier on, or I will go into a meditation, or I will put some music on and I will dance, or I will go for a walk, or I will find something, because I know that the ecstasy of life feels so much better than sitting there feeling depressed and as a victim of life. I would rather feel the goodness of life than feel the victim side of things. And I think you can, it doesn't matter where you've been and what's happened in your world. I think you can start where you are at any given point in life. I think you can always have the opportunity to be able to say, right, I remember saying to myself, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, man. I'm done with it. I don't want to feel this anymore. I don't want to be in this state anymore. I want to know how to be happier. I want to know how to be happy from within, not just with this smile. I want to really, truly know. And that's where I started a journey from that, right? It's a wanting. And I didn't care how scared. I thought, well, you know what? I've been at the lowest of the lows, so I know what that feels like. So if it can't get worse than that. So what if I do have a really genuine giggle and I really genuinely have fun? What's going to happen? Only goodness can come from that. And I started to show myself the difference between being in that state of mind and being in this state of mind, and what a difference it is. Look, we're sitting here because of both of our state of minds, because we chose a different path, and we chose to reprogram ourselves and to learn how to get into that inner state of us. So I just want to carry on reading a couple more comments here, G, before we continue. I know we could just go because we do for hours in general, but I just want to see what Robert said here. He also said, oh, I was just mentioning how important this is to be grounded each day. Absolutely. I totally agree with you, Robert. And if push comes to shove, the computer case is often grounded. If you touch bare metal of the chassis, you can become grounded if the wiring is done properly.
Okay. I don't know. But there was something he was saying earlier. What was it about gratitude?
Yes.
And something came up for me just as we were talking about this, and being present. This is something we don't do enough. We tend to live either in the future or in the past in our brains. Right. This is why anxiety is a big thing, because we want to be somewhere else and we're not there, or we're thinking about something that's happened and it's over with. And we get angry, we get difficult with it. This is where the Ho'oponopono was fantastic, where we get upset over something that happened in the past. Learn to forgive. Say it. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Even if you're not directing it at someone, say those things to yourself. Is such a shift, and it brings you into the present now. We've got to, again, with Esther Hicks, where we said with the monkey brain, it's taking, the monkey brain wants to program you, remind you of your programming. Whereas if you can stop and get present into your body, learn to feel yourself physically, and be in the now. Eckhart Tolle, wow, he was the power of now, one of the most life-changing books I read. All these great teachers, we're surrounded by them, and they're just, a click away on YouTube, or we forget to read books since we got used to our phones. And I love Audible. I love listening to Audible. Just talk to me the book rather than reading it myself. It's like, yes, I love it.
So good, isn't it?
I think, and we need to do that a lot more. Especially now, like coming out of these restrictions and the shifts we're going through. Don't be hard. We've got to not be hard on ourselves.
Yes,
We've done
Gina.
exceptionally well, as with the rules we've been given. So I think we've done exceptionally well,
We really
and
have.
so be grateful for yourselves and ourselves, basically, and thank you for
And
the
we've made
service.
it through. We've done it.
We've survived one of the
Yes,
biggest shifts on this planet, and
yes,
we don't realize how amazing we've all been, even now how we're all gathering together, and that you could feel there's an energetic shift around. Something is happening.
yes,
uh, and it's not all doom and gloom. We've got to remember that, and we also got to remember there's a divine plan happening. It's
yes,
not an earthly plan. There's a divine thing going on that we don't totally understand it yet, but we're beginning to see. If you step back, like we said, when we had the lockdown and nature had a chance to breathe, and our skies, God, our skies were amazing. Not having aeroplanes up all day.
oh, wasn't it the best? Wasn't it the best? And you know what?
Go on.
Sorry, I was just going to say, you remember the first time we went to the beach in the middle when it was really, like, honestly lockdown, and lockdown in Cyprus was not like in the UK, by the way. You had to send a text message to go anywhere. And if you were caught outside of your times, then you would get straight away a €200 fine, I think it was, on the spot, or they would arrest you. If you didn't have your ID with you, you'd be arrested. It's like, yeah, it's quite like harsh stuff, right? So, and I remember, and I'm sure you're going to remember, the first time we went to the beach and there was not a soul in sight, Gina.
Yeah,
Do you remember that?
Ourselves so many times.
It was just, and I remember driving, and I was the only car on the, like, literally, no, not one car passed me, and it was like a 45-minute drive from where I was to where Gina was. And I remember that drive and feeling like I didn't know what was going on. I felt like there was going to be zombies jumping out of me, and my mind started going into a really negative way, right? And I was like, what's going on here? It was so airy, so strange that my mind automatically started creating negative circumstances. And I remember phoning you, G, and going, this is really weird, Gina. And you were speaking to me through the journey back to yours because I was so freaked out by it. But you got in the car and we went to the beach, and we felt this sense of freedom to the point where it was, every time I think of that first time at the beach, and I remember, and I think it was quite a long, I don't know which one we went to, but it was very long, as in like a long old stretch with pure sand, and the waters were just like for miles, and all we could see was just the mountains behind us and the sea in front of us. And that feeling, even though everybody probably felt so locked away and so bogged down, we felt this freedom that we'd never felt before, right? Wasn't that amazing?
It was. We were like, oh my God, it's like the apocalypse. But then we got to remember, apocalypse means revelation, and it was a big revelation to experience our freedom, in such a way. It was really a special.
It was special.
That, and it was like the great escape. It was like we're like we can't have the rules. We need to be free. We were two Londoners living in Cyprus. It's like what is going on? And
And we found our freedom within it, didn't we?
we actually did find our freedom in that time, and I'm really grateful for that period.
Me too.
Um,
Super grateful, like
yeah,
super grateful. Yes, Gina. It was just, yeah, it was something else. It absolutely was. I know, like we've been going now for 54 minutes, Gina. Like, see how quick they're like.
no, it's just not enough. I don't know if we won't have really much time to do a proper breath work, but if you
I
just want to
think
do
we
a
will.
little connection, just a little connection, it's just kind of like just to become a bit aware of your breath and yourself. It's just kind of close your eyes and just take a deep breath in through your nose and take it all the way down into your stomach. Just feel your stomach. If you want to put your hands over your belly, so you can feel the belly just expanding and opening, and then breathe out and just let it go. If you feel comfortable breathing in and out of your nose, allow that to happen. If you feel you want to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, just don't force it. Just kind of feel that connection to yourself. There's nothing else. There's nothing else to bother you right now. Just focus on you. Breathe in through your nose and then out. Out through your mouth or out through your nose, whatever feels comfortable. And as you're breathing in, if you want to visualize, or bring your hands and kind of use and collect through your aura and raise your hands over your aura and over your head. And just let it go. It's almost like a cleansing. You're washing your aura. Take it from your base, your hips, and just bring it over your head. This is a good way to raise your energy. So while you're breathing, we've all got an energetic aura around us. And sometimes we can get bogged down in our aura with energy from the Wi-Fi, radios, computers, and everything. This is a good way of cleansing your aura. And you can also go the opposite way and just go with your shoulder over your arms, like this. Just remove that energy off you. And you can, as you learn to do this more often, you start to feel like an energy around you. It's kind of known as washing your aura. This is a great thing. You can kind of go all the way down, do it with your legs, touch the ground, and you kind of flicker it away. Keep reminding yourself your breath. If anything comes into your mind, maybe you might want to count 1, 2, 3, 4. Take it down to the stomach so that your mind is, and then breathe it out. If you're feeling a bit of anxiety or stress, just bring your hands to your heart. And remember, this is your heart's been with you since you were born. It's been with you. It's been through so much on and off hurts and laughter and joys. Connect to that heart. Put some gratitude and say thank you for being with me, all this time. Thank you for the love that you share with me. Stay with your breath. Something that connecting to the heart just reminds us to be present, present with ourselves, Be kind to yourself. Say thank you to yourself. Say thank you for supporting me, for carrying me through this journey on this planet, on this lifetime. You know, you're here for a reason. You were chosen for a reason. We're not just here by chance. We're all connected to each other. We're all learning from each other. And we're all guiding each other. And we're all leading, we're all going the same place in the same way. And there's different ways of doing it and different frequencies. So be gentle with yourself. Be kind to yourself. And it all starts with you, your own inner journey. It's not anybody else's journey. This is your journey. So be kind, be gentle, be loving to yourself. Bring that love back to you, that love that you give away to everybody else, your partner, your children, all that. Take some of that back and give it to you. Give it to your heart. Your heart needs it. Because if you're not right, then you can't give from an empty space. So feel that love back into your heart. And feel your heart energy expanding and expanding and then surrounding your whole body. And you are that love. You are that joy. You are that divine energy. You are a gift on this planet right now. You really, all of us are. We need to not forget that. Just take another deep breath now in through your nose and almost feel it. If you can't feel it, imagine it going all through your legs, down to your knees, through your feet, and planting roots from your feet into the ground. This is a good grounding technique. You can imagine yourself like a tree, you know, your head is connecting to the divine energy while your feet are connected to the earth. And take that strength. And when you're ready, in your own time, feel that energy and that strength come into the present moment as you feel earthed and connected to your divine energy. This is your sacred space, and you can go to this space anytime you want. And it's simple. We've just done 2-3 minutes, and you feel a lot more connected into yourself and into your spirit and your body. And through the breath, we can alkaline ourselves and give ourselves a lot more of a healthy body and figure. So with that energy, in your own time, you might want to move your body, maybe shake it off, release, and come back into your present. And thank you very much. Namaste. That was lovely.
That was so good, G.
That was just
Goodness.
I do my healing. That's a whole hour of it. So it's you really imagine an hour of that connecting to your breath, your body, your energy, and it's just it's another level. I also recommend massaging yourself, like even like rubbing your, massaging your body yourself, or going for a massage. It brings you back to your body. It's a blessing to have these things with us, and
That was so good.
yeah.
That was so good. I just like, that was so good. You know what?
Yeah.
Even though we're here, I literally felt I left the world. I completely left the world. I was gone. I was in my own world.
And it's a reminder, like the tree exercise really works. It's like, if you imagine your head connecting to the divine, go to the sky, however you perceive your divinity, and then you imagine roots in your feet. It brings the strength to your legs and to the earth. And so sometimes when I used to walk, especially in London, I do it here as well. But when I was in London, because that's how I kind of started this stuff, I would always visualize roots coming on my feet when I was walking, and it would give me this extra strength and energy. And if you can't go barefoot, at least visualize it. Your energy will still go through your soles. I believe it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's even like I do a meditation where I imagine pink energy around me, and I use it as love, and I could surround myself with that with all the mist of pink love, and I feel it, and and connect that to my heart. And that feeling is quite profound, because you have this burst of love that you just feel, and then you ground yourself, as you said. Imagine those the roots of a tree, and you grounding yourself into the ground. And I mean, these things, just in those few minutes there, like, I don't know if anybody else went along and done the same thing. Or you can watch this on the replay, and you can do this as often as you like. I mean, Gina's voice is so soothing, and I love listening to her. And I think that's why while I was with her, I felt I was on cloud nine most of the time, to be honest with you. I think she probably heard me say I love my life, screaming it out to the top of my lungs a number of times, because I had this beautiful energy around me. And with the techniques that went with it, the only thing I could ever would come to my mind is, I love my life. We used to scream it, didn't we? Like, honestly. And I think, that's really what life can become for you. And it's not about the material things. The material things come later, but it's actually been able to find that inner peace within yourself. And like you said, throughout that meditation, you are loved. You do have a meaning here. Everyone is here for a reason, and you are, right? And that is really
home. That's what we're doing. We're all walking each other home. And when you mentioned the pink, every color has a vibration. So maybe we'll have to do another talk, and maybe we can do a longer version of this, but with the chakras, the energy centers. If some people don't find comfortable talking it as chakra, but Joe Dispenza calls them as energy centers, and each one has a color and a frequency. And I've actually got the frequencies for each color. Yeah, so we can maybe connect a little bit more with each energy center, because that's a powerful experience in itself. So because each color has a frequency and an energy and a vibration and a purpose. It's not just the color, like you said, for the heart chakra. Like if you're not feeling well in yourself, then pink is a beautiful one to surround yourself with. But and so is green. Like if they always say to you, if you're feeling run down, eat your greens. But it's also visualizing the color green will actually can heal a lot of your ailments and your problems. If you're too stressed, blue, you need blue. If you're low in energy, you need red. So, it's, and each color counteracts each other and helps each other. And color is another healing vibration in itself.
Yeah, there's so much, right? There's so much.
Another talk on color is just, how color can heal you is incredible.
Yeah, I think we definitely need, what we'll do is I know, okay, we're going to work this out because we need to do another one of these. We really do. I mean, like, honestly,
Yeah.
we really, really do. And the comments that what I'm going to do is, I know we've been on for an hour and 10 minutes now, but I'm going to just quickly finish off reading the comments, close this off. So
Yeah.
just to see, I think Robert was saying as well, if that whining or writing, sorry, my eyesight is not always the greatest. Let's make that bigger. If that wiring is not proper, you may get the spark of life. One of those is enough to teach the importance of having a path to a proper ground. So if that wiring is not proper, you may get the spark of life. One of those is enough to teach the importance of having a path to a proper ground. I think
This is about earthing, yeah, yes.
Okay,
Okay,
that was about earthing, right? Yes, absolutely, Robert. And his point, I was stubborn and thought that first spark, great fun. So I decided to try again, and it was not so fun the second time. Laugh out loud. But that is history between my finger and the plug. My finger and the plug and that Hoover. Yes, it's that connection, right? I get that. So that's a really good as an analogy that Abraham Hicks uses, actually, with the Hoover and the plug. Actually, I think it's that. Yeah, just like it's like going to clean the house, having the Hoover but not actually pressing the switch on, so you're just going around and nothing's actually been achieved from it because you haven't actually tuned into that, right? You haven't plugged into that. So housekeeping let's bring that up. And then Adam says, housekeeping from a very unwell Adam. Please tune in tomorrow at 8:30 UK as Caroline Murphy-Bennis will be hosting a powerful panel as she and many guests come together to discuss addiction. So that's tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. you said, Adam. So please, guys, tune in for Caroline. Caroline's amazing. Caroline Murphy, she is a fantastic lady. She's got a beautiful energy about her too. And then we've got Robert saying, learning to be able to accept what life offers and turn it around to happen for you does rub off on others. Yes, it does, Robert. Absolutely. We could, I suppose I can speak on Gina's thing here. You both agree, right? We agree on that. Our energy really does rub off on others, and that's a fantastic thing. And that's how we raise our vibration. So Robert's saying, hope you're feeling better, Adam. And I hope you're feeling better, Adam. I'm sure you will get through it very quickly because you're a warrior, baby. You're the number one warrior on here. So dogs are great listeners. Yes, they are. Running my dog boarding business was actually an amazing thing, Robert, in the sense of being able to speak to my dogs every day was very healing. Cats are great receivers of love, and Gina will definitely be one to be able to tell you about that. She's got loads of cats. Yes, but you need a break from them too. Absolutely. Yes, we've said that too. There can be too much love around at times. It can begin to lose its meaning. Well, yeah, I suppose so. I suppose everything needs its balance. I suppose contrast is something to be grateful for. Absolutely, for what enables within ourselves. Oh goodness, yes, Robert, I completely agree with that. Learning to run on gratitude can change everything. Yes, and I think if that's one thing that we could, if every person on this planet could really, really implement daily is gratitude, everyone would see a difference mentally, physically, emotionally, and around them. I have the habit of using the comments of the live stream to journal, sometimes being a little too transparent, inspiring discomfort in others, not intentional. It's a gift. It's a gift if it is seen this way. Absolutely. I think it's a gift for sure. And that is our choice to choose to see things this way. More reason for gratitude. Yes, Robert, absolutely. Your comments are brilliant. I'm not going to carry on. What I'll do is we'll look at them after, because there is a number of them that are continuing. So I will Gina, both of us, we can have a little read after. Maybe we can reply to some of them if you're up for that.
Yeah, sure.
But I want to say a huge thank you to you for being
Thank
being
you.
here today.
It was a pleasure. It was my pleasure sharing.
Thank you. Because actually, Gina was she really did save me in the sense of it was supposed to be Paul Williams on tonight, and I want to say to Paul Williams, I wish you wellness and love and light to you, and I hope you get better soon. He was supposed to be on this evening. He's feeling really under the weather, so I did give my good lovely friend here Gina a call, and she was just so open to it. I was just like, yes. So everything always works out, as we know. So having you here has been a huge blessing to me, and I'm sure to all the audience here. And please, guys, just if you're watching on the replay, please do tune in and watch the end part here to do the meditation with Gina, because it does help in so many ways. And you will feel a huge shift within yourself, and it will feel so good. So it's so worth it. And yeah, and on that note, I'm just trying to think, do I have to end the broadcast before I put the other video on, or do I put the other video in and then end the broadcast? No, I have to put the other video on, I think. So I'm going to come here. So Gina, again, thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure. You'll be on soon. Thank you, my darling.
Yes,
and I will call you after, okay, my dad? Well, stay there for now. Stay there, and I'm just gonna put the end video on. So I'll see you in a sec. Just hang around. Is it gonna play? Is it gonna play? Is it? Please, no. Okay, no, I've pressed the wrong thing. That's why. Bear with me. Okay.
Okay.